Hi, Jelly here with a yarn review video. Today we are going to be reviewing the yarn Premier Parfait Plush. When we review yarns, we are going to follow these 7 parameters. We are going to go based on how the yarn feels in the skein, how easy it is to make a 5x5 single crochet square with the recommended hook size, how it feels in the squares, how well does it do a blobby, how does it sew, stitch visibility, and pricing. So first, this yarn is very soft. If you've ever touched those soft chenille yarns like Premier Parfait Chunky, it's very similar to that one. It is about the same softness as the Good Sweet Snuggles Light from Michaels, or when they had it, the Chenille Home Slim. So you do get quite a bit from it. It is 174 yards or 160 meters. It is 7 ounces or 200 grams weight and is 100% polyester. The color that I'm trying is Sage because, as you probably know, I am a sucker for a good green. And then this does show that it's supposed to be super bulky, and they do recommend a 9mm hook. So let's go ahead and get started on that crochet square. Center pull. Not terrible. So here is the completed square. I have the 6 rows right now because we're going to do the frog test and such, but this is what it looks like. It's a lot softer when it's worked up as well. And you can see on the screen that it does have a little bit of a sheen to it. Like, it's not totally matte, but it's not totally shiny as well either. Let's go ahead and do that frog test. Frogged pretty nicely, and you can see the yarn where it was frogged is in pretty good shape. But again, the real test will be once we do the smaller hook size. Let's go ahead and fasten this off. Now the next test we need to do that's not listed is that now that it's done in a square, let's go ahead and check to see the shed test. So let's grab on and we'll pull pretty hard. Okay. Not bad. It held up pretty well. Now that there's quite a bit off, it comes off fairly easily, but you can still see that some parts I'm struggling a little bit more. Let's do the other side. Yeah, do a little more. Yeah, it does take a while to go up before it can go ahead and shed off, but you can see here what looks like underneath. This is fairly common for chenille yarns, but let's go ahead, cut off the extra, and then we'll go ahead and get started on the blobby. I have 2 crochet hooks. I have a 6mm and a 6.5mm. Let's go ahead and see. What I like to do is I like to hold the crochet hook up to the yarn to see if it's a good match or not. You can see on this one that the yarn's a little bit thicker than the 6mm. So I think the 6.5 is more of what I'm looking for because you can see it blends in better. So we'll go ahead and try that. Let's put the square off to the side. Here is the Parfait Plush versus the Chenille Home Slim. You can see that the squares are definitely 2 different sizes, and I know partially because of the crochet hook as well. It could also be tension, but I think it's more the crochet hook. And when I hold them up together, you can definitely see that even though they look about the same, the Parfait Plush is just slightly thicker than the Chenille Home Slim. All right, let's go and get started on that blobby. Well, we survived making the magic ring. Looks like we're good to go from here. big this is already. Like with the 6.5, okay, you can easily fit the one we made with the 5.5 and the Chanel Home Slim in it. It looks almost like it was a little bed made for it, doesn't it? Or like a robot body. I'm gonna get some water and then we'll keep going. Alright, now that we've worked up quite a bit, look how good that definition is. I feel like it's not as soft now that it's working up, but it's still on the soft side, and I really like it. During the crocheting, it's not shedding too badly. I only have 2 fuzzies, but the real trick will be after I cut it and we do the sewing check. But yeah, it's looking really good so far. I can't wait to see what it looks like finished. how big he is. I feel like I could add a little more stuffing to the top. I'll probably do that before I sew. But look how big he is. Like, oh my goodness. He is massive. Massive. Like, here is the Bernat blanket one. So you can see just how big it is. Because this one's pretty big too. Like, look how big that is. This is also the one we're going to do, but we're going to do a shorter tail as well. I also could have gone for bigger eyes too. All right, let's go ahead and see how this sews. Probably with the holes could have gone down half a hook size. That's the downside about using the invisibility crease sometimes, is that it does provide these holes. And then here are the fuzzies. So this part held up pretty well. Go ahead and finish sewing this up, and then we'll go ahead and make the ears and the tail, and that will be the real test for the sewing as well. There we go. You can see that now that's worked up. It kind of has like that velvet texture where depending on how you move it, it changes. That's kind of funny. All right, let's go ahead and make the ears and the tails. Since I have this one done, let's go ahead and frog some stitches back since this is a tighter hook. Okay, you can see it's a little bit rougher, not much rougher, but a little bit rougher than when I had to do it on the skirt with the larger hook, but those stitches were also a lot looser. How did I do that? I thought I was careful, but I wasn't. Guess this one has uneven ears. Oh well. Alright, and here is the finished blobby. I feel so bad that I sewed the ears on unevenly on this one, but at least they still look cute. You can see that it has really nice stitch definition as well, but there is some shedding involved. So if shedding isn't really your thing, I definitely would not recommend this. That's part of the reason why I don't normally use chenille yarns like this, because I don't like cleaning up the shedding. That's part of the reason why I use blanket yarn a lot. But let's go ahead and talk about the pricing. So the Premier Parfait Plush is $7.99 USD for one skein, which isn't too bad of a price, especially when you think right now that burnout blanket, which is 300 grams, so a little bit more, is currently like $15 a skein right now. So this is not a bad price at all. It's super soft, and it does have quite a few colors, 35 colors to be exact, which is a really great color range, and they do have quite a few browns and greens as well. For me personally, I would probably buy this yarn again just because it is soft. It is a thicker yarn, which I prefer. Parfait Chunky is just a little bit too small for me personally. I would probably get this again if I'm looking to make something that's super soft. But thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked what you saw, please be sure to leave a like and a comment telling me what you saw in the video, what you liked, my thoughts on it, your thoughts on the yarn. If you didn't agree with me on anything, or if there's another yarn that you want me to see or something you want me to cover in the next one, please hit subscribe if you want to see more videos, and I will talk to you later. Bye!